Okay, evaporative cooler, Mark 2.1. I already actually did a video on Mark 2, but decided not to upload it because I figured out a more efficient way to do this. Essentially what I've done is I finally went and got some clear vinyl tubing from Lowe's. You also probably can't see this very well, but we've got a 80 gallon an hour pump down there. It's a little bit heavier duty than the 40 gallon one. When what happens, turn that off, what happens is the vinyl tubing feeds into this piece of half-inch PVC. This is also half-inch tubing. I didn't have the right coupler, so I just used duct tape, which is a little leaky, but it's not really causing a problem. The water's just kind of running down into the reservoir anyway. Then it's going across the pipe, and then I didn't have my drill, so I cut basically just gashes in this every 3 inches with a hacksaw and widened it out with a knife. And then I fixed it on top of here, so gravity actually pulls the water down, then it runs along the pipe that the pad is hanging from, and then goes down into the pad itself. And then the water mostly follows the pad, so I don't have a problem with the water like just falling down on the behind there or anything like that. But there is a little bit of runoff there. Then over here, this is the fix that I made. I wasn't getting water flow through these two holes really, and I figured it was because there wasn't a high enough water pressure in here because the water was just shooting straight across and out this tube. So in order to fix that, originally I kinked this, which caused major backup and it started like leaking and stuff. So instead what I did is I made this tight loop here, PVC, and I balanced it on this piece of sprinkler hose, which this right here, if you were wondering, originally I was going to run the water through this pipe, but I decided not to after I bought the pieces, so this is just here. But luckily it was there because this is supporting this loop here, and this loop creates just enough resistance here that we got significantly less water flow down the exit tube, which is giving us a lot more flow here. I mean, in theory, I think I could almost not have an exit flow here and just have the water build up in here and then fall down on the pad, but I don't know. That seems like it could cause problems. So this right here works, and we can adjust it by actually moving this back and forth, so we can actually adjust the pressure. And if for some reason the pressure here grew too much, hopefully it would just push its way through here instead of having these duct tape couplers fail. Then down here, it's the same. We've got, this is basically the drain, same drain. It's not quite perfect, but water does run down onto this and then drip into there. And then we got a 20-inch box fan behind there. If you haven't seen this design yet, there's just a 20-inch box fan sitting in the window, and then the water is just falling down onto this lid. And since this lid has kind of this detent here, the water will just naturally go towards the drain. Before, the water was falling off the sides, which is why I got all this crap here. But I believe that's been fixed. I basically added duct tape down the sides, and I also cut the pad a little bit smaller. And I believe that's largely fixed the issue of the water running off the sides instead of into the drain. Though there's still some work to do on that, especially around the backside. But there's totally cold air coming through here. But the nights here in Arizona are still a little cold, so I'm not sure how well it'll work during the summer. I'm also going to need to find a way to seal off this window somewhat. Hope no one in the HOA complains about it. Either way, if you live in a more humid place, evap coolers don't really work, but in dry, hot places like Arizona, essentially what's going on is, sorry about that, is you're putting water into this pad and getting it all soaked up, and then you're blowing air through it, and the air's evaporating the water, which cools off the air, and then, and then it creates cool air. But it doesn't work if there's like any humidity at all, so this doesn't work in monsoon season in Arizona, but it works like most of the hot part of the year, which is really long in Arizona. So these are, and they're really efficient because the water is making most of the energy versus something like an air conditioner where it's gotta cool itself. But either way, this is working pretty good. I don't know if I'd necessarily follow this idea, but I like designing my own stuff, and I think this one's working out pretty well. Have a good one.